Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Edhem Fočo. I'm from Jazeera, Balkans, and I will try to give you a story of what you have seen now on your screen. That region that we are talking about, it's obviously former Yugoslavia, or what we call the Balkans region, that fell apart in a very bloody war that I personally hoped we will never see again. But unfortunately, we are seeing in Syria maybe something which is even worse. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate their problem and solve their situation, inshallah. And the region fell apart so badly that after the country has separated into 7 different countries, the communication between them, especially in the media, was such that people actually did not want to know about each other. Basically, there was a situation where we all speak the same language, by the way, just that we call it different names, but it's the same language. It's as if you would call Qatari language or Saudi language or Kuwaiti language. It's the same language, but we call it Serbian, Croatian, Bosnian, Montenegrin, whatever. So they speak the same language, they share a lot of common culture and history, yet they did not want to know about each other after the war. That means past 20 years. And in that very divided region, basically became awkward. The world is becoming a global village, and that region is shrinking to itself. People want to know only about themselves, do not want to know about the region. And we had a situation where one country would ask their public broadcaster to subtitle movies from the other country, which is in the same language. So it is something like you are subtitling Al Jazeera to Egypt. Or maybe we should subtitle Al Jazeera to Egypt because they don't understand us, obviously. But anyway. In this kind of region, an idea was born, strange enough, but here in Doha, to start a project called Al Jazeera Balkans. I came with a small idea to Doha to present it to then Director General Waddah Khanfar. And then he, in about half an hour, changed it to an idea of making Al Jazeera Balkans. We took it back, and within a short period of time, the media was abuzz with gossips. What is Al Jazeera's agenda? What is Qatar's agenda? What are these people? What do they want? Everybody was talking about us. That was free PR, because when we ran a research in the countries of the Balkans in 2010, somewhere, about what is Al Jazeera, most of the answers were no idea. Unfortunately, Al Jazeera English, Arabic were not on cable operators then, and people had no idea. Those more informed, when you ask them what's Al Jazeera, they say it's Al-Qaeda, or it's Al-Qaeda's TV channel, or it's some Islamic channel. These are more informed people. So we had to deal with this hurdle as well. Anyway, we took it on, and the project was really moving very fast, which was amazing. Now we had to bring together people from different regions, and our main broadcasting center was in Sarajevo. Obviously, geographic location, multinational, etc. But it was not easy to convince these so-called former enemies now to come to Sarajevo, especially because there was such a propaganda during the war. For example, in Belgrade, they were telling people that Muslims are feeding Serbian children to lions in the zoo. First of all, there were no lions in the zoo. Even if they were, they died of hunger because there was no food, and nobody was throwing anything. But this was the perception. Now you have to tell people, come to Sarajevo, live and settle there. And I would like to, so that was our first aim, was bringing people together in our micro world in Al Jazeera Balkans. And we had an interesting story. In somewhere early 2011, a friend of ours who is sitting somewhere here, Mr. Zakir, he's your talent management, head of talent management. We went together to Belgrade to try to convince Serbian prominent journalists to join Al Jazeera because of this perception. And we were sitting at the table. I remember there was a journalist called Ivana, very cold, distant, not very much interested. At the end of our conversation, she told us, look guys, I may be interested to join you as a correspondent from Belgrade. So she's still in Serbia, she works for us, great. During the interview session, of course, we invited her to Sarajevo for the final interview. That was, I think, her first visit to Sarajevo. After that, she was coming for trainings, and when we had some things. Next year, she asked our CEO, Mr. Tariq, sir, can I be relocated from Belgrade to Sarajevo? So fine, Tariq told her, you can come. Later, she married a Bosnian guy. She got a baby, and now she's a Bosnian citizen. So this is how we bridge the region in Al Jazeera. Thank you. Anyway, so the first challenge was putting the team together. I think we managed to do this quite well. It was, we assembled a young team. We had great help from Doha. You remember, guys, that was 2011. Al Jazeera was on top of the world. I hope it still is, but it changed the Arab world for better or worse. It, inshallah, will be for better. And everybody was talking about Al Jazeera, and the teams that were coming from Doha there, they really instilled the spirit to the guys that were coming from Croatia, Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro, wherever, full of distrust, with no hope. Suddenly there are these guys coming and telling them, look, it can be done. Our region is even worse, and we have done it there. We have brought change. I mean, Al Jazeera has definitely brought change to the Middle East. Arab world before 1996 was something like what I was describing a situation after the war in former Yugoslavia. Basically, who knew what was going on in a different country until this Pan-Arab channel came on? So, this spirit that the trainers installed in our young team really paid off. We managed to launch the channel within 6 months, and the first news hour that we had, of course, we were all on the edge of our seats, wondering how it will go. Will it be successful? Will we fail in something? How will the audience react? Because, you know, this is something that is not what you call it, nobody has ever done before, so there were a lot of skeptical things. They will fail, you know, who wants to watch in Croatia Serbian presenter, or in Bosnia Croatian journalist, or something like that. Their skepticism aside, we watched it. When the first news hour finished, the first critic that came out from Croatia, it was the most famous Croatian TV critic, she wrote, "This is a real small TV news revolution in our region." That was a great thing and great start. After that, of course, we learned as we went. We covered all stories from the region and international ones. We sent our journalists to Egypt, to Gaza, to Syria, or to Ukraine, for example. We covered events at home. Al Jazeera was the main channel when there was massive violent demonstration last year in Sarajevo, and we are the main channel now covering Macedonian crisis. Some people said we forecasted it. I hope we did not, and they will solve their problem. But we were going from strength to strength, and along the way, we were educating people and expanding our reach, so that today I can proudly say Al Jazeera Balkans is the most distributed channel in the Balkans, bar none. Thank you. We have even reached this point where, you know, as I said, in 2010, nobody knew what was Al Jazeera. Today, you will hardly find anybody who does not know what is Al Jazeera and has the best to say about it. Another proof that we are on the right track, when Al Jazeera came, there were no international media. Basically, they pulled out. BBC had local service, they pulled out. There is only radio service called Radio Free Europe or something like that. But because of Al Jazeera, suddenly last year we had CNN come in, do the same thing. And as a matter of fact, publicly their CEO last year said, "I have done my PhD on Al Jazeera Balkans and now we are here," which is to us a great thing. We welcome them and we wish them all the best. So this would be the story about Al Jazeera Balkans, but basically about the spirit that Al Jazeera from Doha brought to us. And I would like that we see more of these stories, whether this will be Al Jazeera Swahili, Al Jazeera Bahasa, whatever it is. We look to Al Jazeera here in Doha for the new frontiers that they would reach so that we can follow. Thank you very much. Salam alaikum.
شكرا جزيلا لأدهم فوتشو. حتى نحن يعني في الجزيرة العربية أعتقد كثير من الزملاء والزميلات من جنسيات مختلفة تعرفوا على بعض وتزوجوا، فحتى نحن we bridge nations.